If we're going to go 4, you guys better be good, all right? Probably around 2 hours, but there will be an intermission. So I'm going to hand it over this time to Mr. Christian Cooley.
Thank you very much for coming tonight. I'm the editor of the Independent Appeal newspaper, and I'd like to welcome all the candidates tonight. Starting at the end over here, Tony Chapman, John Hill, Roger. I'm going to start over here. Tony Chapman, John Smith, Roger Hill, and David Robinson. All of tonight's questions will be directed towards the group, and when we get to the audience participation portion, I would ask that all the questions, again, be directed towards the group and not to individual candidates. In addition, I know that all of you are gentlemen. I would ask you to refrain from any personal attacks against one another while we have our answers, but again, I don't think that will be an issue. We'll go ahead and get right into it. Roger Hill won this draw, so we will go ahead and start our introductions with Roger. Roger, you've got approximately 5 minutes, and then we'll go to David and we'll go around the room.
You guys be sure to go ahead and turn your microphones on.
We gotta look after this hot mic. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello?
Well, that worked. I'm Roger Hill. I've lived in this county. I was born in Bethel Springs 70 years ago, a long time. Behind in the house called the Ammons house, tore down now back there behind they call it the lodge. Now it was the Texaco station for 100 years, I think. But anyway, I was right there. I've lived in this county. I've been in Selmer now for about 35 years. I've lived in this county all my life, other than about 6 years in the military, and I worked 3 years out of town. My parents were Jim and Ollie Hill, and I'm married to Kay Russell, former Kay Russell, Kay Hill. We've been married 31 plus years. And I worked in my own business for 34 years. And that's about it as far as that goes. Other than what I want to do is, as mayor, I would like to see some changes, as I'm sure all of the candidates here to make. I would like to see harder work on job creation. I would like to see especially more emphasis put on the young people. Because in order to bring business in here, a lot of businesses look to see what is offered to their families that they bring in. Now, I know we have the Civic Center, it's a good place. I know we have the basketball and all of this, but I want something specifically, and I may irritate some of you church folks now, but I think we need a large youth center that even has a small dance floor in it, that has some arcade machines, has a snack bar, and a youth center where the youth will go and where they don't have to park on the parking lots and be run off by the police. So this, and of course, anything that can be done to help us old folks would be nice, you know. And I would like some special effort put into enforcing the animal control laws that are already on the books, because I have come out of the house and actually had dogs growl at me and like they were going to bite me in my own yard, and I don't like this. I'd like to see those laws enforced and to go ahead and maybe do something to help bring a shelter in here. that's about all my introduction I have. If I got any extra time, I guess I'll yield it to Tony.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead, David Robinson will go ahead and answer we'll have the next introduction.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, thank all of y'all for coming, and certainly thank Independent Appeal for hosting this event. Thinking about tonight, I look at this much like a job interview. We're all here for a job, and I look at you as the citizens and voters of Selmer as our employer. So I want to give you a little bit about some of my qualifications. I won't go through my lineage, but I am a native McNair County, and I was gone for 35 years and moved back. Served in the service, had a nice career in the transportation logistics business. But I have been your mayor now for 8 years, and you have been able to see what we've been able to accomplish over these last 8 years. One of the proudest accomplishments I think that we've been able to make, I can stand here before you tonight and tell you your city is has never been in better financial condition. We have raised our credit rating from when I took over to an A1 with Moody's. It's the highest it's ever been in the history of Selmer. We're very proud of that. Y'all, excuse me, I'm going to cheat a little bit. The credit ratings have allowed us also to refinance the city's debt. By doing that, we were able to save $3.2 million in interest payments and shorten our debt by 13 years. In addition to that, we have been able to gain $6 million worth of grants, which certainly help us with our infrastructure, our community development projects. Bear in mind, in that 8 years, your taxes have remained stable and static. I'm not a big proponent of property taxes. You certainly have to have some, but my emphasis has been, how do we find other revenue streams? How do we become efficient in our departments? And I can tell you right now that your departments are running very efficiently. We developed a team mentality. When I first came into office, I started a staff meeting on a monthly basis. And the first few months were very interesting. It was a little cool and a little chilly, but today, if you come to one of our staff meetings, you'll find that all of our department heads work very, very well together. They figure out how to use your resources, our tax dollars, very efficiently. In the areas of our community development, let's talk about that for a minute. Picture, if you will, what Selmer looked like about 8 years ago downtown, and then look at it today. You know, we've got 2 new parks, the Dixie, the Rockabilly. We have the Farmers Market. Thanks to the efforts of AIM, and certainly the city was able to participate. We have 2 world-class murals. I get compliments all the time from my counterparts when we're going to other meetings that are passing through Selmer. And I can assure you they have recognized the improvements, and hopefully you have too. In the area of the community development, we've also been able to renovate the Civic Center. If you remember that was in about 2006. We had a Civic Center that was leaking like a sieve. That has all been fixed. And now it becomes a very, very good venue for a lot of events. I've already used one. In the area of infrastructure, certainly we've been able to improve our water lines. Certainly our downtown water lines have been replaced. Streets have been repaved. You've got a water filtration system now that is next to none. You've got some of the finest water, I can assure you, in this region. And hopefully there'll be some other time. So thank you again for coming.
sir. Tony Chapman will go ahead and give his introduction next.
Okay. I think most of the people I know here, I've known for years. But I'm Tony Chapman. I'm a McNairy County native. I have my wife here with me tonight, Wanda, and I live, and she lives till November the 10th, 5 days after I'm elected mayor, I hope. We've been married 40 years, and I'm very proud of that, and she's a wonderful wife and a great supporter. I have my son, JT, who I'm very proud of, and his wife, Shancy, and I also have my friend, Miss Judy Bivens, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Jim and Tracy Plant. And I would like to just recognize them before we get started. I'd also like to thank the MRA and the paper for sponsoring this event. And why do I feel I'm the most qualified candidate for this job? Number one, education. I think education is very important. It's not everything, but I think it's very important. I have a master's degree in business administration from Union University, which I received while going to school at night and working full-time for UPS in management during the day. I have a bachelor's degree in communication from the University of Tennessee at Martin, which I received from going to school in the day and working during the day and working at night. So I know the value of a good education, and I also know the value of working hard. I teach college. In communications, I teach writing. And in business, I teach conflict resolution and business ethics. In experience, I have 35 years of business administration experience. I have 6 years of federal and state grant operation, finance administration, grant writing, education, and transportation. 11 years of county government experience with budget and operations decisions and doing what is right for the children of McNairy County on the McNairy County Board of Education. I have many years of experience dealing with all business, social, and government strata. I know how to deal with people, from the janitor to the CEO to county mayors, city mayors, because I've done so throughout my career. I have vast computer operation knowledge and experience. I've been delving in computers since the late 1980s with UPS when we first started getting computers at UPS. I have experience in website building and hosting as part of my business, Top Communications. I have built websites and mastered them. What all this adds up for the citizens of Selmer, I believe, and the property owners of Selmer who can vote. If you elect me your mayor, I will not only be a city mayor, I will be a city administrator. My vast experience with budgets and grants will enable me to operate our town with the least to get the most. I'll be able to build and maintain on a regular basis a dynamic website for visitor and resident alike. I'll be involved in writing of grants, and I have numerous sources to obtain grants that offer low matches or in-kind matches that will help us give more services with the least amount of capital. I want to start a pay it forward month, similar to what the city of Jackson did, where groups and individuals pick a member of our community that's less fortunate and do something for them. Paint a fence, a house, mow a yard for a month, build a ramp for a handicapped individual, fix a leak, install smoke alarms, any number of things. I will attend every county commission meeting as mayor, every economic development meeting, whether it's city or county, to be involved and add input to our economic development efforts. Education is an important key to our success. We need an educated workforce, one that goes off to post-secondary and then gets educated to come back to high-tech jobs that are well-paying here. I have experience in a program called Gear Up, which is a college access program that I helped write for our county, the grant for our county that we recently received. I helped write it for another county that received over $1 million over 7 years. That's Henderson County. And I know the value of good education. We need to support our schools as I have done over the past 25 years as a parent and a school board member. We need a new elementary school in Selmer, and I have made it my mission to see that we get one, and I will continue to do so. on that mission. As an alumni of UTM, I am in the unique position to promote our university that we have. We need to continue to expand the offer of degrees and variety of degrees that we have available here to give our folks an opportunity to get a low-cost education close to home. And I'd just like to say that I really desire to be your mayor, and I would appreciate your vote during early voting in November 5th. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen.
Our next introduction will be from John Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and also thank you to the Independent Appeal for hosting this event. It's greatly appreciated, and what a great facility that we do have here to have a debate like this. Most of you probably know me. My name is John Smith. I'm the son of Dr. Jamie and Sherry Smith, both of which are here, my Aunt Molly. My kids are not here. One's got at a football game, my little girl cheerleading, and my son's at an ag meeting. So proud of them, two great children. I'm actually very humbled to be here tonight, and I greatly appreciate it. I've got a lot of friends here tonight, and a lot of people that I know. I have been a member of I've been 8 years. I've been on the board for Selmer, and it's been a great experience. I'm very appreciative of doing that. We've been able to accomplish a lot. I've also served as treasurer for the town of Selmer for 6 years, and it was mentioned about the city being in great financial situation right now, and I feel really good about I was a big part of that, along with a great board. And but I'm so thankful to be here. I know that probably not the greatest speaker that's here tonight, but I am the hardest worker standing on this platform here before you. And I understand, you know, I've been around and I've visited with a lot of folks. 9 out of 10 say, we need jobs, and I understand that. Jobs is at the top of my list. We have a lot of issues. We do have a lot of issues facing us here in Selmer, but jobs is at the top of the list. And there's so many things, and I hope we get into a lot of them, but I'm very thankful to be here, and I do believe I'll be the next mayor of Selma. And I will promise you one thing. I'm not here to make a lot of promises. I mean, that would be crazy. There is one promise that John Smith will make you, and that's that I will give you 100% dedication every single day. Not stopping at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, every day, all day, weekends included. Now, I'll tell you what, there's so many of y'all that I love. And I've actually done work for probably, I'm looking around and I see several people that I've worked for. My work ethic will relate to being mayor. There's not one single person, and I will go out on a limb here and say there's not one single person that I've worked for that has ever had a complaint. I've been in the trenches, I've worked hard. I give everybody 100%, 110%. I actually do more than I say I'll do. And that will reflect as your next mayor. So, thank y'all very, very much.
Okay, we'll go ahead and go right into the moderator portion of the tonight's event. The first question will be answered tonight by David Robinson. First question, sir. What do you see as the biggest problem facing our community, and what would you do as mayor to remedy this issue?
I would have to say probably, and I would agree with John, the biggest issue we have is finding jobs. And how would I solve that? It's not as easy as it appears. You know, companies don't just move in here and open their doors and start hiring folks. We are looked at demographically for our workforce readiness, the education levels that we have in the community, and those are very, very critical to attracting jobs. One of the things that we were able to accomplish about, I think it was 2 years ago, we started the Roundup program. That's where we round up utility bills to the next highest dollar. And that differential half goes to the one-to-one program, which is putting computers in schools for our students to learn the capabilities and think with the technology. The other half goes to the last dollar scholarship, which awards scholarships to deserving students, and it's based very much on the FAFSA model. That's handled through UT Martin. Deidre Bean sits on that with John Finlayson and a couple more. To date, we have awarded 22 $750 scholarships in McNair County to those students. And they're good in community colleges, technological colleges, and at UT Martin. The other thing that we're doing, certainly with my association with MRA, and that's really our body that we charge to really kind of walk point on industries and stuff like that. We get a lot of cooperation from the state when there's activity and viewings. Unfortunately, a lot of these companies, and we've responded to a lot of RFPs, a lot of them come with demands that, quite frankly, small communities are unable to fulfill, such as the most recent ones come, they want us to provide their startup capital in addition to the tax incentives that we have, the property that we can afford them. Some of them want us to indemnify them with their hazardous waste, and small communities are just not able to bite that bullet. So that's part of the issue. So, and as the governor has put out this year, started it's called Pathways to Prosperity. That's a coalition of the educational community and industrial base to see what skills are really needed that we can put back in. So that would be my answer to that.
Thank you, sir. On the next question, same question to Tony Chapman. What do you see as the biggest problem facing your community? And again, what would you do as mayor to remedy this issue, sir?
Well, I think the most pressing issue is that we need to make our town as attractive as some of the larger towns are to get higher paying jobs for our citizens. Although I work with leaders on a regional basis to get more industry and business in the region when I'm elected mayor, it is always better if you can get jobs locally in the Selmer area. First thing I think we need to do is improve the livability of our town. We've had a sign that's on the entrance to our town that's been either with a big hunk out of it for 5 years or non-existent. Amen. And I think we need, when I'm elected mayor, instead of doing it right after the election, I will do it right after the election, and I will do it instead of waiting 5 years to do it. Also, street signs. The street sign at my corner of Purdy Road and Canal Street was in awful condition. I got out there with 2 cans of spray paint and a wire brush, and I repaired it and made it look decent in 30 minutes. I don't know why we haven't done that throughout these 8 years that some of the gentlemen have been on in city government. I will do that. The intersection landscaping needs something done to it. If we're in such good shape financially, why don't we spend a little money to make our city look better? One of the first things that an industry or business looks at is our educational system. Although we have a very good educational system, and I'm very proud to say that I've been a part of that for 11 years, we need a new school in Selmer, Tennessee, a new elementary school. It is in bad condition. It was built in 1954, and it hasn't had the proper maintenance. The teachers and administrators do a very good job with what they have, but I'm going to make it my mission to help everything I can to get a new school. Also, I will work with UTM and our technology center at Crump. I know they just changed the name of it to make it more appropriate to what they do, and adapt and help them to realize what potential industry needs that might be moving in here as far as training for their potential workers. I'm a graduate of both Crump and also UTM, and I still know some folks there, and I can work with them to accomplish this. And I think it's very important for us to have that to attract prospective industries in this high-tech world today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next question will go to John Smith. Again, sir, what do you see as the biggest problem facing our community, and what would you do as mayor to remedy this issue?
Well, I think, Mr. Moderator, that the biggest problem that the community faces right now is the lack of jobs. Again, as I said, you know, I've been knocking on doors every evening after work. 9 out of 10, it's jobs, jobs, jobs. Now, as I said, I've been an alderman for the town of Selmer for 8 years, served as treasurer. But I've also served on another board as a policy council member, and that's Southwest Human Resource Agency. A lot of you know what that is, and there's you've seen their buses. That's one program that they do. They do very, very many, but that's one of the big ones is public transportation. Being on that board has actually enabled me to travel across the state of Tennessee and also to Washington, D.C. And as we're talking about jobs, you know, as I've been to these places, I've always tried to talk about Selmer. And being on that board has given me the opportunity to build relationships with some very important people in Congress, in Senate, in national. I'm talking about first name basis relationships. And you know, we live in a day's time that you have to know somebody to be able to get anything done. And I say that because, you know, I will definitely call the governor, be in his office, look at the numbers. But knowing those people will be an advantage for Selmer. Bring that knowledge, let them know what we need. And I'm very, very thankful to have that relationship. But I think Selmer needs a fresh start. And you know, I definitely feel like that I'm that person. Common sense policy is something that definitely is me. And I will work very, very hard for the citizens of Selmer. And definitely will give you 100%, as I've said before, 110% working towards those jobs. And I'll get into it, and hopefully I'm about to run out of time. But Selmer has got to be marketed better. In my opinion, that whether it's industry, retail, tourism, marketing, Selmer is the key. And surrounding yourself with very smart people, and which I also agree with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Finally, on this question, Roger Hill, what do you see as the biggest problem facing our community? And again, what would you do as mayor to remedy this issue?
Well, first of all, before I answer the question, I'd like to say I just noticed that all 4 of us are wearing almost black suits. It makes me feel like an undertaker. And I guess after election, 3 of us may feel like the Colonel. But in any event, I think that the most important thing that we're facing right now is not so much the jobs. Yeah, they're important, and we need to get them in. That's first priority on, I'm sure, all 4 of us here. But the thing you have to do is, as the mayor was pointing out, is get things ready and have the right force and all of these things. But the biggest problem I see is not that in Selmer right now. The biggest problem I see that's coming it's already here and it's progressing, is the abuse of drugs. We have as you can read in the paper and see, the drug task force and the police are doing a good job. You'll see 80 indictments sometimes, or 40 indictments. But the problem with this is they're catching the little users, the ones that are swapping, and they're making felons out of them. What we need to do is catch the big people that are bringing it in from Memphis and other places and work, because nobody wants to bring a factory or any other business in to a town that has a reputation for being heavy into the drug culture. So I feel that what we need to do is concentrate the effort on catching the big dealers, not the little. But I think that if we do this, it will help bring factories and other businesses. We've talked about factories, but we need other businesses other than just factories. We need regular, what I call mom and pop businesses. And I think that if we can, this is just one of the things, but if we can do this, I think we'll draw some regular business in here.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to our next question. The first person to answer this one will be Tony Chapman. Tony, with rapidly expanding healthcare costs, how would you propose to maintain a balanced budget while continuing to offer health benefits to our city's employees? And what is your position on the recently proposed changes to the city's employee healthcare coverage?
I have just recently started examining this when I went around and talked to several city employees, both supervisors and hourly people. And overwhelmingly, they tell me that they want the plan that they have now. They don't think that the other plan will be good for them. I think that the plan that they may now have, excuse me, just the city plan that they now have is with a local agent. My understanding is, I certainly could be corrected, but the one that is being proposed to change to is one that is offered by a company out of Missouri. The current plan has a $1,500 deductible, with the city putting in $6,000. The first of the month, all the employees who might have some catastrophic illnesses will meet their deductible of $7,500, which means that the city has to give you $6,000 right away. But that first month will not be anything like the successive 11 months. With the plan that I believe the mayor is proposing, that will not be the case. It appears to me to be an unproven plan, because they state that it has not been the plan has not been proven to have the employees checked to see what the condition of their health is. So, in other words, now the plan does not show the health of the employees. So after if it's taken out, if they change their mind and go with an agent from Missouri instead of a local agent, then the rates will probably go up after they find out what the medical condition of the employees are. And the plan is gonna save money on premiums. Well, Blue Cross Blue Shield, which they're with right now, has a 20% reduction in doctors' charges. This other plan, the way I understand it, would not be able to produce that. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. John Smith, you'll field the next question. Again, with rapidly expanding healthcare costs, how would you propose to maintain a balanced budget while continuing to offer health benefits to our city's employees? And what is your position on the recently proposed changes to the city's employee healthcare coverage?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Well, I definitely will get up here and tell you that I'm 100% for the insurance that we have now. Actually, we did change in August as a vote of 5 unanimously to go with Blue Cross Blue Shield HRA plan. We did spend several months, several work session meetings discussing this plan. The one we have now is with Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's an 80-20 plan. The city pays 80% of the employer's insurance. The employee pays 20%. There is no once you go to the doctor, that 20% goes straight towards your deductible. We have no deductible. There is no drug card added on that. Last year it was $250 to get a drug card. That is no more. The plan that we have keep being bullied into to looking at is absolutely the worst thing that Selmer could do. It's a self-insured plan. Now I'm gonna tell you, I've talked to a lot of people about this. You can call, there's 8 surrounding cities close to us that have the Blue Cross Blue Shield 80-20 plan. I talked to the fire chief over in Bolivar, Tennessee. They actually started this last year. Same plan, same company. Their premiums did not go up. So, from what we've switched to this year, we've actually saved $40,000. Now, I've talked to even a person today, a very high-ranking person that's in the medical position, and I said, "What do you think about the HRA, about the self-insured plan? Stay away from it. Stay away from it. It's absolutely terrible." And I wished I had more than 3 minutes to talk about it, but what Tony was talking about with the other plan and the figure that's been thrown out is it's not, they are not medically underwritten, and so the rates are not firm. And I'm telling you folks, it's a great plan. It's one of the best, and that's what I want for the employees. And I definitely don't want to dabble in trying to inherit the health insurance, the health care for our employees. And I definitely 100% stand behind what we have. And again, we voted unanimously on it, and but for some reason we keep having it shoved down our throat. But it's a great plan. I'm very proud for it, and that is actually ends up August 1st is the deadline on that. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Roger Hill, the question goes to you now. Again, with rapidly expanding healthcare costs, how would you propose to maintain a balanced budget while continuing to offer health benefits to our city's employees? And what is your position on the recently proposed changes to the city's employee healthcare coverage?
Am I to understand, John, that y'all have already passed and issued the insurance?
Yes, sir.
It's a done deal.
Yes, sir. It's a done deal.
Oh, okay. Well, it seems to be a moot question now, but anyway, I'll just add to it to say that we've got, if you have employees, you need to have insurance for them. And, you know, that's it. If it gets too high, maybe we use some of that $3.5 million the mayor saved us for the last 8 years. You know, I don't know. But anyway, if we've already got it, the question is already answered, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time with it. I would say this, that employees need insurance. It saves money in the long run. It takes care of, they are not off as many sick days because they can afford to go to the doctor. I think that the deductible needs to be kept low, because if you put it up there $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 or something, people are not gonna go to the doctor. I wouldn't go to the doctor if I had to pay $1,500 to go to the hospital, if I had to pay that before I could see the doctor. So, and fortunately Medicare don't make us do that. But anyway, that's what I would say, is just, we've got to have insurance, keep it low, and whatever we have to do to pay for it and cover it, the employees need it, and we owe it to them, and not treat them like a piece of meat, but treat them like a person, and give them the insurance.
You don't need to read the question, I know.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
First of all, providing health insurance for employees is certainly a very vital function of our city government. Fortunately, through the last 8 years, we've been able to provide insurance to our employees without any copay whatsoever. A lot of cities have employee contributions. The two plans we're talking about, and John, I will agree with, I think it was in July, we elected to move to an HRA plan until we could find a better one, if there was one there. Because quite frankly, our premiums were going up 20% under the original fully insured Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. It's actually not a self-insured, it's called a self-funded plan with a stopgap insurance policy through Companion Life, who quite frankly is owned by Blue Cross Blue Shield. The difference in the two, basically the employees would have the same benefits under either plan. Under the self-funded plan, their deductible would be at like $1,250 as opposed to $2,000 under our HRA. They would go back to a doctor copay rather than having to pay the first 20% of every visit, which it's comparable. The big difference is in the self-funded plan, and I've actually talked to a couple of companies, had one in Tuesday that offered the same plan. Basically, it was self-funded. Matter of fact, the hospital in Corinth is under a self-funded plan. But the difference is, in a self-funded plan, you know what your costs are. In this particular one that we're looking at right now, it's $341,000 a year. Boom. After $341,000, the insurance company picks it up. And contrary to these guys, we did make a disclosure to the insurance company before they actually firmed it up. So they know the health of our employees. With the HRA plan that we currently have, their premium starts at $341,000. And then the city is responsible for the next $6,000 per employee, and or that equates to about $486,000. So there is a tremendous amount of money to be saved by the city and the taxpayers, while at the same time protecting the employees with their benefits. Too often, healthcare costs are the most, probably the one cost that escalates more than any other line item budget that we've got. And the only thing, you talk about pushback, what we've asked, 3 of the aldermen certainly don't want to look at it. I don't think they've done the due diligence. Richard Ash and I and Angie Deaton, who's sitting back there in the back, we've been studying this for 8 months. We started looking at it in January to see, was it a viable plan for the city? There's 3 of us on the board that think it is. So the only thing we've asked at the recommendation of our city attorney is, let's just have an independent consultant who he has found one in Memphis after due diligence through folks that he trusts, and let them look at the plan and give us their expert opinion on what is the best for the city and our employees. And so far, all we've gotten is a lot of pushback and stalling from 3 members on the board. So that's basically the only thing we're asking right now. I think let the plans, either one of them, stand on their own merits. We're trying to vilify or verify. Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and go on to the next question. John, you'll field the first answer on this question. If presented with a budget shortfall, would you be in favor of cutting the budget or raising taxes?
Well, definitely would be in favor of cutting the budget, Mr. Moderator. I don't foresee that happening. I think that as being the treasurer for the town of Selmer, I've had the opportunity, along with a good board, to help maintain a great budget, and it's something that I take it's due diligence, and that's why I so strongly, another reason, am against the health insurance. And you talk about budget crisis. Well, if we go with the other plan, it's probably inevitable, and it's just something that's dear to my heart. And I want employees to be taken care of. And we've talked about we're trying to get someone from Memphis to look at that plan. Well, I have no idea who that gentleman is, and I was given an email something about him. But let me tell you who I do know, and it's about 5 people here in Selmer that are local agents that looked at that insurance plan, and every single one of them said, "Do not go with it. Do not go with it." And definitely have those gentlemen definitely have more insurance experience than anyone on the board. So that's I just had to get that in. But I feel really good about the budget, and and I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to be here, because after elected mayor, I'm gonna tell you what, I would have worked my tail off for this town. I'm gonna market Selmer like it's never been marketed, and I'm gonna help expand that tax base. Common sense policy is who I am. I want to give 100% dedication towards the citizens of Selmer, and I definitely will give you every bit of that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Roger, you'll field the next question. Again, if presented with a budget shortfall, would you be in favor of would you be in favor of cutting the budget or raising taxes?
There's a lot of issues there that could affect which way to go. For one thing, it would depend on how much short the budget you were going to be. It might be that you needed a combination of both. In place of throwing it all on the taxpayer, to do just a little there, and then on the budget end, a little there. It might be that you could work just the budget, but without seeing and reviewing everything, you can't really say, because you've got to review the budget and know there's some things that just can't be cut, and there might be some things that could be cut. And so there's no way for me to, I think, intelligently answer that, other than saying, it can go either way, or, like I said at first, raise taxes just a little, cut the budget a little. And that'd be what I'd recommend.
Thank you, sir.
This is the city's budget. I've been preparing this for 8 years, and quite frankly, we've already dealt with shortfalls. When the financial crisis hit in 2008, we started seeing sales tax fall. We started seeing our state share of sales tax fall. So I've already dealt with that, and I tell you how I deal with it. I didn't raise your taxes. But we went in and we started looking at efficiencies. How can we do things better? How can we get new revenue streams in that are not taxes? Part of that was we started a recycling program with the county. By the way, we have an excellent working relationship with on several fronts. But that has reduced our landfill cost about 18%. Recently we just installed efficiency lighting. That's going to save us about $9,700 per year. We brought in-house our tire program, for example. We've been farming that out, and that's saving us about 40% on our tire program. The department heads, through their efforts and working jointly together, we have been able to find other efficiencies. So I've dealt with that. I'm not going to raise your taxes. It would have to be a severe budget shortfall, and then we'd have to start talking about it, and you'd need to make the decisions on that, what services you want to have. For example, the sales tax from 2006 through 2007 had been growing very well, and then again the crisis hit. Those taxes fell right back down to 2006. I present the board every year a balanced budget. I'm very proud of that. What that does for us, it keeps our credit ratings high, and it keeps our services that we provide to you from street, sanitation, garbage, all of that. I don't think you'll find any finer services than the folks that we've got working for us right now, and they're committed to do that. And back on the health insurance thing with John, I just need to touch that just a minute. The ones he talks to are commission salesmen. So they're vested to sell you a fully insured plan. All we're asking for is an independent set of eyes to give us guidance, because obviously the board is split. So thank you very much.
Again, Tony Chapman, the same question to you.
Okay. I would definitely not raise taxes, because I don't think you could raise taxes in a situation got that bad, because people couldn't afford to pay the extra taxes. So we would definitely have to cut services. But I want to talk a little bit about the business climate that we create in the city of Selmer. I've talked with several new car dealers recently and asked them what it would take for us to get a new car dealership in Selmer. And surprisingly, their answer was not very much. I think that's one thing that we could do, is work towards that end. But also, I've talked with some local businesses who have in the past wanted to build new businesses in Selmer, and they have been told no by the board. And I think Mr. Smith voted no on that, if I'm not mistaken. But new businesses is exactly what we need for the new streams of revenue that the mayor's talking about. Now, what does new businesses do for us? Well, number one, it creates construction jobs, and that creates revenue. Number two, it creates new tax revenue possibly. And number three, it creates new jobs for people working in the business. So when we have people locally who come to us and say, I'd like to build a new business, and we tell them no, what does that do? And especially, you know, if we're in a bad economy, we need to get all the help that we can and allow them to build businesses, not just look at one person, what one person wants, or and say no to them, do what one person wants in the situation. And probably about 2 years ago, we had the opportunity, if I'm not mistaken, to get a digital factory that is in Parsons and Ripley through Southwest Tennessee Development District, which I work for. couple of years ago. But we had an opportunity to do that here in Selmer, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we applied for that, to get that. What it is, it's a place where they train, they hire the employees, and then they train them to be telephone center operators, customer service, or technical folks, and then they go to work for the telemarketing firms, and then they do it all over again. We did not do that either, and I think we need to take advantage of things like that also. And on the insurance, I wanted to read what I was trying to say a while ago. Medical review has not been completed, and I believe that this is the plan that the mayor is asking us, or asking the board to relook at. And it plainly states that the medical review has not been completed. I don't know if it's been completed since this was put out, but the way I read it, the medical review has not been completed. Thank you.
That's a full document.
Thank you, sir. Roger, you'll fill the first question on this round. This will be the last question for the moderator portion of the debate. Are there any laws or regulations you feel need to be added to the town's books? And conversely, are there any current laws or regulations which you feel need to be cut?
I didn't understand the last.
Would you like any new laws, or are there any current laws which you would like to go away, to be cut from the books?
I don't know of any current laws I'd like to see go away. As I mentioned before, I would like to see the drug enforcement in one way lightened and in one way stricter. I would like to see especially crack cocaine, meth, amphetamine, and those sort of crimes more, and they're doing a good job. I see a lot of busts in the papers on those. I would like to see those increase, but like I say, the mutual users that are being picked up time and time again and hit with a felony, we're making it. I can't hardly get people registered to vote. You stop my house, I can't vote. I said, well, you want me to register? I can't. I'm a felon. Why? You know, it's one of these little drug charges. So, but I think we need to do that, to lessen the little man and get the big people. I think, and again, on the law, I'd like to see, I don't know about, I think there's enough on the books probably, but I'd like to see the animal control. I'd like to see maybe an animal control officer that would enforce the leash law that's on the books. Because I don't like being chased in my own dog. I don't like coming out and having to stop to keep from running over 8 or 9 dogs, and another old dog in heat up the road, and 5 or 6 more chasing that one. I want the dogs taken care of. I'm afraid these big dogs will bite me. I'm afraid of them. Now, I have little bitty dogs. They can't hurt me. I can kick them if I want to. But I'd like to see those two things done. And like that, I don't think any necessarily any new laws, just what we have in the board.
I'm good with the question.
Thank you, sir.
When I first came into office, I reviewed our charter, our ordinances, and we at that time we took the initiative to pretty much clean those up. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, any new laws that you're talking about, I really have no idea what you're talking about. I think government, the smaller government is better government. We do from time to time tweak them, absolutely, through our planning commission, some of our ordinances, stuff like that. I did want to address Tony's business at Parsons. He's talking about the entrepreneurial center, and quite frankly, Parsons had a building that they could use. Unfortunately, Selmer didn't. They've since put another one in, I can't remember where it is, but they require buildings, and at the time we just didn't have a building. And as far as the business that we turned down on the board, I have no clue what he's talking about. Basically, it wouldn't come to the board, it would come through MRA. And certainly, I sit on the Joint Economic Development Board, and I can assure you we're turning nothing down. We look at what we're doing, and we've had some success locally with expanding businesses. Spectrum has expanded several times, United Stainless. Let's see, Monogram, we're in current negotiations with, trying to move them into the new Midwest Woodworking building. We've got a hospital wing that moved in down at the airport, and certainly Strata Solar that had an announcement here, I don't know, 2 months ago, that they'd be the 2 largest solar farms, I believe, in the southeast. And they've made the statement that they would probably employ 400 or 500 temporary workers as they set these farms up. Since that time, I've had another conversation with a gentleman in Alabama. They're looking at another solar farm down there. So those teams could very easily move around. We're not turning our nose up at anything. We certainly look at it very, very diligently. We do our due diligence, and where we can accommodate, we accommodate. As far as the animals go, I agree with them. I know that the mayor, county mayor, has had several conversations on that. Certainly, I've done a lot of research. The bad thing about that, if you have an animal resource officer, where's he going to take the dog? Because I had checked with every county around us, and we used to have an agreement in Corinth where we could take our stray animals, and we do have an animal control officer named Jim Riprogel. He's our building inspector as well. But facilities, just the operational maintenance of those are about $250,000 to $300,000 a year. Now there are 2 counties around, Chester and Hardeman County, that they have done a program where they co-op with a lot of volunteer groups that raise their own money. The county puts some money in, and certainly that's a viable alternative, but I'm sure the mayor's looking at that. Thank you.
I don't think we need any laws stricken from the books, but I do think there's a few things that we don't need to experiment with again. One of them is RoboCop. And we now have a human-operated RoboCop that I'm not sure is not going to be found unconstitutional sometime, some point in time in the future, because a person still can't face their accuser as they're given the right under the U.S. Constitution. And I think that municipalities more and more are looking at this, and at some point in the future they're going to say that we're going to have to take these red light cameras out and go back to active law enforcement instead of passive, where we find someone based upon not knowing who they are. I just don't think I don't agree with it, and I think maybe the red light cameras may have done some good, and I'm sure that some of the gentlemen here can quote some statistics. I've still seen some wrecks out there, several, but I do think too that we're becoming a speed trap town. I see policemen stopping everybody all days of the hour, and you'll say, well, if they're speeding, they deserve to get caught. Well, maybe they do, but maybe we don't deserve to, or maybe we don't need to stop everybody that goes on the speed limit. Maybe we need to raise the speed limit to about 40 instead of 30, because the 30 speed limit was made when cars couldn't stop easily, and now they can stop on a dime. I think that the speed limit could be raised, and we wouldn't have the need to do this and become an unfriendly speed trap town. One of the things the mayor just said that he was in favor of the lease law and so forth. Well, I believe that